Vloggity movie time. So I just watched Hellraiser Judgement.
Evil seeks evil. What is going on here? Let's just dive in, shall we?
What we're investigating is very dark.
Just curious. What do you see?
You think you're too close to this case?
Jesus Christ.
It's him.
What on earth is this place? It isn't. There's hell to pay.
On Netflix. I've been a Hellraiser fan for quite a while, for the last several years. I, didn't watch the originals until many years later, of course. Obviously, like so many other people, fell in love with the character of Pinhead, eventually got the book, The Hellbound Heart, read that, really enjoyed it. Never fully finished it, but I don't know how many pages were left when I got through it, but I know I was just about done with it. But so I'm not sure if this is the one that I've been hearing about, where this was supposed to be the reboot in some way. I'm not even sure exactly what year this movie came out. I want to say maybe last year. Let's look it up real quick. Hellraiser Judgment. 2018. So this came out last year. Ooh. And, I mean, it starts out fairly interesting enough, with an interesting premise, where we're introduced to a few new characters. The Auditor, who, basically works for Pinhead, and we also have, I forget what they call him, but basically after the Auditor is finished writing down everybody's sins, this other guy comes in and he eats the written sins to then give to the judges, who determine whether or not this person is guilty. And we're introduced to all these characters by them sending a letter to I wasn't sure if he was a child murderer or a child molester or what. I mean, they certainly explained earlier on that he was just a flasher and he liked to watch rather than actually do anything. I don't know. But yeah, he gets killed by them. And then we're introduced to our detectives, our leads. And like I said, it has a pretty interesting premise because they're chasing a serial killer that's killing people modeled after the Ten Commandments. So it's very Seven inspired, heavily. And we only see really like two murders. We're told about another one. That was two lawyers who had their tongues cut out while they were still alive. And I don't remember if I mentioned this yet, but the serial killer calls himself the Preceptor. And he ground up the tongues and laced them with bleach and fed them to their son. Because the thing was that they were you know, they were liars and they were feeding lies. And so anyway, two detectives, brothers. One is very distant, the other is pretty normal, really. We're introduced to our lead detective's wife. His name is Sean, and they obviously have a very distant relationship. He's a former soldier, and then we're introduced to a third detective who was assigned to help them out with this case, but she's there to stop the serial killer, but she's also there to monitor Sean, because he's been getting pretty reckless. And he's also started drinking again, and him and his wife have a very distant relationship. He, finds out about the last place that the pervert went to, and he goes there, and he gets audited by them, and and they're about to clean him when they're told that, no, you have to let him go. And and then, about when that happened, or maybe even before, I kind of already saw the twist coming. So, spoilers abound. It turns out Sean is the Perceptor. He's the serial killer. And so his last victims are his brother and his wife, because his brother banged his wife. And we see that when he leads them back to his lair with all the pictures of the trophies and of all the people that he's killed and everything. And they were going to be his last ones, because up to that he had done 9 killings. And so this was the 10th. And so while he was at the place being audited and everything, he stole one of the boxes. Really the more interesting part about this film, the serial killer is a good idea. Getting these new characters like the Auditor is very interesting. And of course seeing Pinhead again. And I think the new actor who's playing him did a pretty good job. My big faults, though, are with, the detective leads, the shitty twist, and then how it ends. So, he brings together his brother and his wife to open the box that he stole, to summon forth Pinhead, to trade their lives for his. But Pinhead tells him that, no, that's not how it works. And he's to be punished and judged accordingly anyway. They will receive their judgment. So they're just dragged away by chains. They're basically dead. And he's strapped up, and then, so there's another character, an angel, and who was also the one who told them originally when they were gonna judge him and kill him and everything, that he had to be let go. Well, now she returns to tell him that, no, he is free to go. Because heaven apparently likes his work. It's spreading fear amongst humanity and turning them more towards the light. So Pinhead lets him go, sends him back to the reality, but so before all this, the other detective, I forget her name, because their characters are so, it's fairly cliched characters, really. And so when she and Sean first went to the apparent place where he had been killing everybody and everything, and she finds out the truth, he knocks her out, and we think she's dead because he was pummeling her in the side of her head with the butt of his gun. But no, it turns out that she was still alive, just really badly hurt. And so he gets sent back and she shoots him and just kills him. And then it cuts back to the other world where the angel is pissed because Pinhead apparently set it up for that to happen. How? I'm not entirely sure. And she threatens him. Pinhead is unfazed and begins to torture her. Has her chained up and starts putting his pins in her head, and then has her racked up on the chains and then tears her apart. And the whole time the auditor is there with him and tells him at the end that, you probably shouldn't have done that. There will be repercussions for this. And Pinhead's like, what do I have to fear? And they get banished to Earth, turned human. And that's how the movie ends. It was okay up until that bullshit ending. That ending is so goddamn dumb. It really is. I mean the whole twist, you kind of see coming a little bit, because, turns out about, barely halfway through the movie that, Sean is pretty religious, quoting very religious and very specific things, and now he's kind of unfazed in certain cases in meeting the auditor and such, and it had some good ideas. It did. I wonder if this was just a detective story and not a Hellraiser movie, if this might have been any better. I don't know. The best parts about it really are the auditor and Pinhead. Really. The other female actor who plays the other detective, she was okay. So was the younger detective's brother, but they barely really have any character. If you want to watch this, it's on Netflix. It's good for a quick watch. It's a very quick movie. It's about an hour. That's all I can think to say. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.